All right, no intro music. I didn't like it. Welcome to another episode of the Samuel Lubega podcast. Thank you for joining me. It's going to be episode 4, titled The Collapse of Clubs. All right, let's get started. So I had this idea a little bit earlier today. I was playing Call of Duty Zombies, the revamped Black Ops 2, and it was kind of fun being able to compare the older video games with the newer ones. And don't worry, hang with me and you'll be able to wrap it back in a second. And it was kind of crazy because they do such a great job of not only enveloping the player in a story, but just kind of exposing you to obviously the geopolitics of war, but more of, making these characters and these soldiers more round than they are right now. I think if you compare that to maybe a newer Modern Warfare, and even if you don't like video games, you can really learn something from this. If you have no kind of preconceived notion of it, everybody knows what a video game is, right? But in the newer Modern Warfares, they focus more on, let's say, a lot of this technology. There's this thing called exosuits. It's kind of like an extension of your body with the help of, mechanical components that help you, jump faster, run, climb a wall, stuff like that. And what happened is we kind of glorified technology so much to a point that we want so badly to eliminate the human experience. And Call of Duty Black Ops 2, why it's in my book, one of the best Call of Duties, best army first person shooters, whatever you want to call it, is because it perfectly balances that kind of inescapable nature of taking kind of Prometheus's fire and giving it to the people. Prometheus being one of the Greek gods. He struggles, and they talk about this in this Oppenheimer movie from a while back. But Prometheus struggles because his whole journey as a Greek mythology is that he gives people the power of fire before they're kind of ready for it. And Call of Duty Black Ops 2, they introduce, so many different components of integrating technology into warfare that it just kind of chef kisses to where it doesn't oversaturate the idea of, it being everything, right? And so I was playing this game, enjoying it with my little brother, playing zombies, and there's this big piece that every person who has a sibling or every person who's ever like played video games growing up, you're not just like, I don't know, getting into it for the fact of it like adding to your personality, but it actually is a deep-rooted nature of how you enjoy the little things in life, was split screen gaming. Like just being able to play right next to the person that you're playing with was an immeasurable experience because I think a long time ago, somewhere in, the beast in the belly of capitalism, we wanted so badly to extrapolate value from experience that we forgot what experience is supposed to feel like, and then we highlighted everything that we could make marketable. And in a split screen game, it's the same, it's the perfect balance of like a board game. Board games are only fun because the power was out, or we finally got everybody that we know in the same room. And kind of like bingo, it's one of those things you do for the sake of doing while you're fighting to have a conversation. You're fighting to get somewhere. It's just the board game is the locomotive that drives the communication. It's not necessarily the end all be all of what it is that I want out of life. It's just I need something that grounds me present enough and kind of balances that idea of escapism enough to where it's fresh, it's new, and now I can have a conversation starter with somebody that I don't get to experience life with every single day. And as I was comparing this Call of Duty Black Ops 2 to, I think, Modern Warfare 3 just released on PlayStation Plus, meaning that you can have it for free if you are a subscription member, which is a whole nother conversation for a different day. So it's not really free, you're paying for it, but you get the game and you get to compare them both. And one of my little brother's first question was like, "Hey, can we run zombies on the new game? I mean, the graphics are probably crazy." And we do what we all do, which is we run to the internet, we try to figure out, all right, how do I make this thing work? Every YouTube video is like, oh, we can figure it out. And it maybe took 25, 30 seconds to realize, man, they took away split screen gaming for zombies for the sake that it was fun, for the fact that they want you to buy the game twice so you can play with people that you know. And I'm not harping on the idea that everybody has to, play the same game, but I'm saying it for the epiphany that I had in that moment, which is growing up, you know, clubs were such a pivotal part of life. It was one of those things. What am I doing? That's pointed towards me. I don't know what I did that for. It's one of those things where you share the work that you're doing with the people around you, and you get to explore an idea that maybe you don't spend a lot of time with. So for me growing up, it was chess, and I think I was maybe in a not a science Olympiad, but like one of those like, hey, come over here and you can be a leader, and maybe let's build a bridge with popsicle sticks, kind of a thing, and that was fun. But it wasn't fun because I was building a bridge with popsicle sticks. It was fun because you put yourself in a room with enough new people that you got to learn a little bit more about yourself, right? And I think those were what we call now third spaces, when in reality it was, one of these things that I think we took for granted in life, which is the ability to try new things for the sake of trying them with no real financial, emotional, or even like time commitment. It was just, hey, there's this thing at 2:30, you want to try it out? Cool, right? And as an adult, it's possible. It's 100% possible. I'm not here trying to, be a pessimist because everybody is selling doom and gloom right now in the age of 2026. But I'm saying this to show you that, like, it's in your nature, it's in everybody's nature to want to be a part of something, right? Community is everything. And I think the people who understand that desperately want to be in the know. They want to know why. Like, why is this thing so cool? What's the next thing trending? How can I be a part of the wave, right? And the problem with that way of thinking, even though, for a lot of people it's a way to make ends meet, is that you never fully understand the weight of what you're experiencing. And for many people, it can be, a show that they love to talk about, or, a hobby that they have, right? But clubs specifically, what they allow you to do is they let you have different personas of yourself. You get to be a new person every single time you decide to try a new thing, right? One of the things that's really popular as of late, I know a lot of my college buddies are doing it. Being a former athlete, playing in college and stuff, that's a real transition as you get into running. So run club is huge. You throw on all your tight clothes and you go and you find 20 strangers and you're like, all right, I want to run a 5K. And I mean, like, that's cool because you just get to be able to kind of have that ego of yourself of putting yourself in challenging situations and seeing what happens. Um, and it quickly becomes a way for people to find their identity. But oftentimes, I think what people are afraid of is losing identity, not necessarily finding it. Because if you have no problem with redefining yourself over and over again, every club is a fun club. You can try on 15 different hats before you find something you like. You don't have to overly commit yourself to one idea for the rest of your life. And I think that when there's this, overlooming pressure of one being the best at something right away, feeling that there's no need to start because I can look on my phone and I see somebody who's 1,000 steps ahead of me, or, it feels like I'm always watching the conclusion of the story that I just had an idea to start. There feels like no purpose to do it, right? And I think that's how you stay stuck. That's how you never really get to, you know, explore these different facets of your own identity. Now, I'm not saying that's something where you go join a rock climbing club or you throw yourself off a roof because you're a thrill seeker for the sake that you saw it like on a Red Bull ad or something like that. Like I'm not, I really hope it doesn't stray too far left in a way where I'm saying, hey, go out and do everything and explore everything. But I think we close the door off to possibility so much for the idea that there's no value in starting at square one. And most people will tell you the fun part is chasing. The fun part is like being like, okay, I know nothing. Now, where can I go from here? I'm starting a board game. What are the rules? And then I gotta sit there as one of my friends describes me exactly what the rules are, and I get to be lost and terrified and in up to my neck and questions and I don't knows, and allowing that to transition from, you know, kind of like being a kid learning how to walk to, all right, bet now I want to teach everybody else how to walk. And that's it's a joy that, I think I found more as I've been going to this chess club, and it meets at this like I think it's like a brewery or a club, or it's like one of those places that like mixes that with like a deli sandwich spot. And so I go in there and I'm nervous. I'm nervous. It's all outdoors the first time. And I'm probably way too early. I'm early. I'm sitting there. I got my board and everything like that. And I remember the first 5 games, I got absolutely waxed by just like different people. There was one dude here just fresh out of prison, tattoos up to his earlobes, and he's telling me about how he learned how to play chess in a penitentiary, and he said it was one of the best things for his mind. Now, mind you, he whooped me. He whooped me. He was so much faster. Chess.com let me down. It didn't do enough lessons at once. But I mean, it was cool because it was like it was starting from somewhere. And there was one game I was playing, and this guy I was sitting across from, he was maybe one too many drinks in, and he just started telling me about his divorce. He was like moved from a whole different side of the country. He was from Seattle, and I'm like, man, what is it with kind of having a blank canvas of experiences that allows people to feel so open and transparent with you? It's really hard to feel transparent with somebody when you've kind of been set in stone with who you are over and over again. Be that with a sport that you play or a job that you have. It's one of those things that if you're not paying attention to it, it will slowly create this callus around you that it feels like you can never really break out of. And I think that the biggest kind of fire to my feet that allowed it to be so clear to me was I was trying to learn a language. I've been teaching myself Mandarin for the past few months, and it's such a hard language. I don't know where I'm at right now, and it's hard, but it gets better. Like, and I caught myself actually like understand a sentence and just like regular passing, because I was at a I think Asian market, and I got so excited because I didn't know what to say back, but I was like, man, I'm close. And it's these little doors that I feel like as things become so comically expensive, hilariously out of reach for an entirety of a generation, there are things that you just have to take back. You just have to, because if not, you'll be sitting here not listening to me, but listen to somebody. I'll sell you a Kalshi ad, and then you'll go watch, 49 of these same variations of a thought you had instead of actually chasing and figuring out what you would do in that situation. It's really easy to sit back and be a audience member in your own life forever. I think that's what everybody wants to be, is a satisfied audience member at the end of the day. Bo Burnham. But there are so many different levels to experience that I think you only glorify the top for sake the top is the only thing in your face. Pause. Pause. I don't know. But like it's important. It's really it's really important. Um yeah. Couldn't lose one Parker Lewis, hot on my own stuff. I mean, I could be a Buddhist. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to say today. I also was able to set some stuff up so it'll be easier to edit. I'll try to, no, I'm going to be consistent. And that's it for today. Hope you double check to make sure your phone is charging and really get out there if you haven't already. Coming out of focus. If you haven't already, find a club because I mean that's how you make friends. That's how you'll, I don't know, live a good life, have fun. And if not, do whatever you want to do. I don't know if we liked the song at the end last time, so I might just cut it here. Bye.